This is part 8 of Angular 14 series. In this session, I will discuss about the custom pipe creation. Why do we need that, and actually how to create the custom pipe. So in this our example, actually we are going to show the profile picture path. API side we are getting the relative path only, not exactly the file absolute path. So for that reason we are going to make we are going to convert the relative path to the absolute path so that image can be visible in the screen. Okay, and also I will discuss about that reusability of the code. Okay, so let's get started. So flip to Visual Studio Code, and here in my previous video actually we fetched the user details, logged in user details, and actually we are going already printed this first name and the role name. Now today actually I'm assign that path to the image source. If I go to the browser and run this application, let me increase this little bit size. Okay, now here v2e @21. Let me log into the system. So he see the name already Biswajit, and the role is the admin, that is coming from the backend. Now if I go to the network tab and if I do refresh, now here I can see the data coming from API, first name, profile pic, and role name. Okay, so profile picture is coming as a relative path. This is not exactly the image path where actually image getting stored. Okay, so this is in a relative path. What we need to do, we need to append the base path along with this relative path so that actual image path formed. Now let's do that change. Let me go to the service, so that is called auth service. Now if I change here API response dot data dot, if I check the response object here, profile pic equals this would be the base path of the API. And if I go to the browser, here I can see the storage. Let me first try in the browser where actually image getting stored, copy and paste it over here. Now so now that default path is coming. Now let me quickly change that API, then /storage. If I check API /storage, now concatenate with the relative path. Now let's save these changes and go to the dashboard component HTML. So let me remove this image, and here as actually I'm going to assign one property, model property. So that's what I wrapped this src with the third bracket decorator. So let me copy this, and what is the path name, copy this prop and paste it over here. Now let's save it. Now go to the browser. Now see the default path, actually default image are coming. So now this way we can convert the actual image absolute path. Okay, now question is, if I have other place where we are going to show the image, but API always return you to the relative path only. But yes, some of the API may return absolute path. 90% cases are there where they actually returns the relative path of the image. So in that scenario, what we need to do, we need to write a code where this kind of conversion will happen. But now question is, if we have multiple, several places where we are showing the image, so in that scenario, are we going to write every time the same code? Obviously not, right? So how to reutilize this code? This is what actually we can create one custom class which will be decorated with the pipe. Okay, so this is basically pipe. What pipe basically does, pipe basically format the data before rendering to the screen, right? So in that scenario, we'll create one pipe. That pipe name is called abs file path, and inside that pipe I will write the logic to format. It will convert from relative path to the absolute path. Okay, so how to achieve that? Let's flip to Visual Studio Code, and here inside this core, because these are the pipe instance always to be created only once, so I will I would like to create one folder called pipes inside core folder, and here I will create what is called abs file path.pip pipe.ts. Okay, now here in pipe decorator is there. Now this pipe actually will consider an object. This object is having actually name, pure and standalone. So now at the current situation, I will consider only the name. And if we check the name here, if we mouse over, so it is saying like the pipe name to use template bindings typically uses lower camel case. Okay, so we can put like this abs file path. Okay, and now I will write the class name abs file path. So you have to implement one pipe transform. This interface you have to implement. Okay, now in this scenario, this value actually we will come from the element where actually we are going to use this pipe. Okay, let's consider constant that is called, let's say, base URL, which will be a string type, and from here what I'll do, I'll copy, or let's say I will cut this and paste it over here. This is my base path, and constant relative path will be a string type, and this relative path will come from the consumer, I mean wherever that pipe is consumed. Okay, and I will make this constant abs path string, and here I will use base URL concatenate with the relative path will become an abs path. Okay, now I will return this abs path to the consumer who are actually using. Okay, now let's save this change, and this pipe has to register in some of the module. Okay, where actually we are going to register that. Let me register here app module so that it will be available for all components. Okay, dashboard component, let's abs file path. Okay, now let's save this. Now go to the dashboard component HTML file. Here actually to use the pipe, you have to use the pipe symbol first, then see abs file path is available. moment I type the pipe symbol. Okay, now hold on. Okay, now let's save this change and go to the browser. Now open the console. Okay, one actually error coming there. I kept let me comment this. This is not required at all. Now see the same thing as it is done in the inside this auth service ts file. So same thing is happening from that pipe also. So let me debug it quickly. Go to the source, and here if I type abs file path, now let me put a debugger. Now let's refresh. Now see the value is coming storage app defaults images avatar paths, which is from API. So now there is no middleware or nothing else whenever we are receiving that file information, or you can say user information, there is nothing. So this is absolute purely concrete object. That object actually we are subscribing here this user, and here on just printing. So before printing, what pipe actually is doing, it is converting, or you can say yes, converting the value before rendering. Okay, or you can say formatting data. Okay, now see this is the value and base URL I have and relative path. Now apps path actually became, let me refresh one more time. Yes, see here I can tell you, yes, this one. See the this debugger actually has pointed in this line. Now you can see return value will actually become this one, the HTTPS up to this, right? Now let me copy and let's say paste it here. Now you can see the exact path what actually is returning by the pipe, right? So this is how actually we use to write a custom, or you can say create a custom pipe in Angular. Now any interviewer if ask to you, have you used ever in your project Angular custom pipe, or if you use, for what purpose actually you have created the custom pipe. So you can now have the clear answer, or you have the clear picture why we are going to create the custom pipe. So this is not only the one case, but we'll have some several cases where actually we are going to create the pipe. So this is one of the example. Okay, so now our next video I'm going to explain the custom directive. Okay, so here in the left hand side menu I have created products, orders, customers and reports. So based on the user role, now this user is having admin role. Okay, so if admin is there, then all options will be available. But apart from admin, let's say a supervisor. Okay, if supervisor logged into the system, then that supervisor will have only the product and maybe orders. Okay, these two options will be there, other nothing. I mean dashboard, products and order, but customer and reports won't be available for the supervisor. So how do we achieve that? With the help of custom directive we are going to create in my next video. So till that, stay tuned and be safe. Thank you for watching. Have a nice day.